Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is annulled, and a new future is born.
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
So here's why everything that's going on in the world of healthcare at the moment is absolute freaking garbage. On the left and the right, politicians are equally as culpable, and I am over it, as you should be over it as well. How so? Well, first and foremost, let's get the deliciousness of this particular slab of irony out of the way. McConnell delayed the Republican health care bill while John McCain got surgery. You caught that one, right? Anybody else see the tremendous amounts of irony in healthcare being put on hold while a politician gets healthcare? Hey, we have to completely overhaul the way health-related things and medical treatments are done in this country and change medical benefits, and everything's going to go and something new is going to be in place. Oh, wait. What's that you say? John's getting a procedure? Oh, okay. Hold up. Well, wait. We'll wait. We'll wait for him to be done and okay. And then we'll change it for everyone else. But this, my friend, this is why it is absolute garbage. Because it's turned into a game of legislative chicken. It's turned into a game for people. Well, not people. How silly of me. I almost gave the sense that politicians were people too. It's gotten to the point where politicians are literally at war. It's a spitting contest over people's lives. I'm going to pull out your idea and my idea, and we're going to see whose is bigger. Ha ha ha. It's just absolute garbage because American and human lives hang in the balance, and that's not okay. President Trump blamed all Democrats and a few Republicans on Twitter after this idea that Obamacare would be repealed and replaced absolutely collapsed. He said, "We were let down by all of the Democrats and a few of the Republicans. Most Republicans were loyal, terrific, and worked really hard. We will return." A little afterward, he had a follow-up tweet. "As I have always said, let Obamacare fail and then come together and do a great health care plan. Stay tuned." No, that's not what you always said. Not even a little bit, not even close. No, what the hell, dude? What the hell? What you said is we will have a seamless transition between whatever the new thing is, and nobody's on that, and the Affordable Care Act. We will not have people dying in the streets. Remember that one? So, where does this leave us? This leaves us with our president going, let Obamacare fail. And by the way, I'm not advocating for the left or the right on this one. This is not about left and right. It's a tired cliche, but this is not about left and right. This is about right and wrong. This is about human lives. This is about a promise that our president made that people will not be dying in the street. He trotted that expression out over and over and over again. And by the way, I'm not going after the Republicans because I genuinely do believe that the actions of the Democrats on this one make them equally as culpable. So what? So what if the healthcare bill? So what if the healthcare bill that the Republicans are trying to pass seems like an absolute travesty? Instead of using that as an opportunity, as a springboard to be like, oh, look at these death mongers over here. Aren't you sorry you voted for them? Maybe we can get the power back. No. You recognize that this is about human American lives, and you go in and you go, all right, let's work on this together. Let's work on this together. F the red and blue garbage on this one. Healthcare is for all of us. And, I was talking to my buddy Clay. Clay had a brilliant and simple idea. And it's brilliant and simple because it's what absolutely everybody in their heart of hearts is thinking when they hear about this all-out war over healthcare between the right and the left. Clay said, what if the GOP simply repealed Obamacare by selling the Democrats a seat at the table on its replacement? I.e., why can't they just freaking get along and recognize this is about human lives? Healthcare is not a red or blue issue. A broken leg, cancer. These things aren't registered as Democrats or Republicans. Now, like I said, not bashing Trump, not bashing Democrats. I am putting every single politician responsible for American healthcare in one giant pool and going, shut the hell up and work together. Make it work, you idiots. This isn't about the size of your freaking junks. Stop tripping over them. Talent perceives difference. Genius, unity. Yates. Learn it, know it, love it, you ignoramuses.
Real radio.
104.1.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
It just boggles my freaking mind still. Let Obamacare fail, then come together and do a great healthcare plan. No. Don't let healthcare fail. No, absolutely not. That whole repeal and replace thing, fine, great. A lot of people had very big and very valid concerns about their health care under Obamacare, under the Affordable Care Act, I should say. It's going to be replaced with Trump Care, and it will be a seamless transition. We're going to talk to the best hospitals, the best doctors, the best insurance providers. We're going to make this work out so nobody is dying in the streets. We're going to come together over and over again. We're going to come together. Come together. Figure it the hell out. And you ever heard that expression? You have to learn how to manage your manager. 9 times out of 10, dealing with your boss is an art form in and of itself. Like I've got like 8 bazillion people that I answer to. Like being on all these different stations is cool and everything, but one station program director doesn't give an F about another station program director, what their needs are and what sort of demands they're placing on you. So I learned really quickly that I had to manage my managers. I had to manage their expectations. I had to give them information in simple, bite-sized, easily digestible pieces that they would understand and have time to get to if I wanted to be able to live any kind of life at all. I had to learn how to manage the people in charge. We've got to do that with our politicians right now. We have to with our votes, with our voices, with our tweets, with our social media, with our direct emails to the people that have our healthcare in their grimy little palms right now. We have to let them know this will not stand. You stop arguing with each other. You come together. Whatever you got to do. Republicans, sell them a seat at the table. Sell the Democrats a seat at the table. Allow them to feel like they're part of it. And you know what? That protects Trump's ego as well. If something goes wrong, he can be like, well, it was obviously Democratic interference. Because right now, his inability to pass a bill, he's saying it's all the Democrats are obstructionists and we had a couple of defectors, which he did. Republicans were just like, we're not entirely okay with this. And so it died. Trump Care Mark II, or is it 3 now? I can't remember, is dead in the water. Come together. Work with one another. Recognize, like I said before, this is not a red or a blue issue. This is people's lives. A broken leg, cancer, multiple sclerosis are not part of any particular party, and they do not discriminate, and they don't go after someone just because of their voting record the way you do, you idiots, you churlish, moronic, lame-brained, imbecilic, discompassionate idiots. Figure it the hell out. But they won't, not without your involvement and my involvement and our help. So whenever you get an opportunity to do this, let the people that hold, like I said, our health and our lives in their grimy, sweaty, greedy little palms know that what we want is for you to figure it out with the other side, because this cannot be a pissing contest. Do you understand? All right. Funkhauser, what's going on in the world?
Well, I mean, you covered all the important stuff, but here's some more things. Doctor Who is getting its first female lead.
I wonder if the Republican healthcare plan will cover Doctor Who.
No, she's British, isn't she?
Yeah. First female lead. Like, the doctors have changed over the years. There's been all these different doctors that have played Doctor Who, and now it seems unbelievable that it's taken them this long. I mean, a lot of people are just like, oh, this is such a progressive move. Doctor Who's an English invention. They had Margaret Thatcher as prime minister in the late 70s and early 80s, so why did this take so freaking long? Yeah, Doctor Who getting its first female lead. And for many fans of Doctor Who, I think this is as close to a woman as they've ever been, or will be. So there you go. What else?
Disneyland will call its new Star Wars themed portion Galaxy's Edge.
Really? Huh. I'm looking forward to that. I think I'm going to go. Are you going to go?
I went yesterday. Day before yesterday. Disneyland.
Is the Star Wars themed? Pardon me, but being an adult male, I don't pay that close attention to the goings on at Disney. Is the Star Wars themed portion open?
No, they haven't even began building it yet.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I will go to that. I'll suffer through it. But you know what? I'm not going to go for years. I won't be going to this for years because, like, the wait times at Disney are probably insane, right? Weren't you just there? Didn't you just go?
Yeah, I went on the day they were doing D23, which is their big convention. So it was like lighter than normal. So I got to go on a bunch of stuff. But they just changed their their plan. They built this Max Pass thing where you now have an app where you can, like, instead of going there and getting your Fast Pass so you can beat the line, now you can get it. Now it said upgrade for being able to use the app, and that just launched with the Star Wars thing. So the lines are still long, but there's ways to beat it if you have more money in your pocket.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't do it. I guess there's probably not room if you don't line up, but I don't know why they don't do those things with those, like, now everyone's got a cell phone. Like, when you go to a restaurant, you don't have to, like, stand there doing nothing. You can wander, you can look at things, you can go buy yourself a churro if you want to, and then they can, like, page you when your trip on Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is about to leave in 5 minutes. Come back. Like, why do you have to stand there waiting the whole time in this age of digital technology? I don't understand. I don't get it. But I won't be going to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge for quite some time. I'll tell you why next. Money making, skills on the mic, keep me paid every day, and part of the battle, just bow down, better act like you know. Come on.
For more stimulation and less irritation, 9 out of 10 doctors choose KPRC AM 950, Houston's more stimulating talk radio.
Don't get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of you guys out there in Radio Land. All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah. Give it up, yeah. Bring this on, come on.
So what's this new Star Wars thing called again at Disney, Funkhauser?
Galaxy's Edge.
Because the original name, Version of Palooza, did not test well. I won't go. I actually would really, really love to go, but it's going to take forever. Why? Because, well, they're years out from it being done, right? Like a couple of years.
Oh, yeah, probably. They just announced, like, the video of how it's supposed to look. So.
And so it's going to take a while to build. And then, like, you can pretty much safely assume for the first couple of years the lines are going to be out of control, even if they did have that. So wait, well, did you have to pay extra for this app thing that you got when you went to Disney this past weekend?
No, because it just came out yesterday, so I was like the very end of the old method. But now for an upcharge of $10 extra, I think you can now get in line on your app.
So that means you don't have to, like, stay in line. You queue via the app. It's like taking a number at the deli counter.
Yeah, it says come back between this time and that time, and then you get in a shorter line. And you can go
so much better. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know how it works, but I would imagine that's worth $10 of anybody's money.
Well, it used to be free. It used to be free, but you can only do one ride at a time. So you'd have to go. You can wait in line at one while waiting in line virtually for another.
Oh.
And now you can do it all on your app. I think you can queue all of the rides you want to go on and then just kind of show up.
Like, why can't it be like a doctor's appointment? You know, like
for the Haunted Mansion.
Sure, yeah. You know, it's just like I would like to ride the Haunted. Like, what's it called? The Haunted Mansion.
The Haunted Mansion.
I would like to go on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at 5:30. By the way, did you hear that they're changing the Pirates of the Caribbean ride?
To what now? They change it every so often.
No, they're not changing it to anything, but they're like, for years and years and years, Pirates of the Caribbean, which has spawned one of the most successful movie franchises in the history of movie franchises, has been sort of like this thing. And if you've been to Disney, you've definitely been on the ride, and you probably remember the Wench auction. Do you remember the Wench auction, Funkhauser?
Oh,
a bunch of pirates selling women
so
like property.
A
bunch of pirates selling women like property, probably into some sort of sex slavery, and that was on a ride for kids. So I guess in the year 2017, a bunch of people decided they were offended by it, so they're going to be changing it. But it's amazing what people just blindly accepted. Oh, I'm here with my 5-year-old. What's that? That's a woman being sold by a pirate for money. Oh,
well, there used to be a couple of animatronic robots on a platform that went in a circle, and it was a pirate chasing a winch. In a big circle, like, hey, come here, you. But I can't remember what year, but they changed that one and switched the roles. So now it's women chasing men carrying bread. So the men have bread and the women are running, trying to get the bread now. So they still have the same, like, turntable of a robot chasing a robot.
They just switch the order, like the woman's now doing the chasing and the
it's no longer a pirate after booty. It's now a wench, as they say, after bread.
I think Disney call it the Wench auction as well, and I don't know, like, if you're already in trouble, if people find your ride offensive, bandying the term wench around, skating on thin ice there. But yeah, it's gonna take freaking forever to get on the Star Wars rides. I look forward to it, though. I hope it's good. Better live up to the hype. What else?
The season premiere of Game of Thrones was last night.
Oh, yeah. Have you watched? I haven't watched a single episode of Game of Thrones.
I saw an online GIF once.
Well, no, hold on. I tell a lie. I think I might have watched the first season back in the day. I think I struggled through the first season. And I say struggled just because it didn't, like, it was very long. It didn't really grab me. And if something doesn't speak to me on a pretty immediate basis, I have a hard time sticking with it, just because my stupid monkey ADD brain knows that there's a bazillion things out there that I will love. So why am I sort of like taking the effort to get into something? It's a weird thing. It's that strange paradox that we've all arrived at in the year 2017, where we spend more time adding stuff that we want to watch to our instant queue than actually watching stuff from our instant queue, and always feeling as though there's something better out there that we could be spending our valuable tiny amounts of recreational time with, because we're all working so freaking hard that so we don't lose the health benefits that we slave for every single day. So, like, any kind of recreational time is like gold dust in 2017. At least it is for me. I'm sure it is for you. The vast majority of Americans that I talk to, the one thing that we all seem to have in common is we're all working. We're all working really, really hard every single day. Multiple jobs, ridiculous amounts of hours. There's a reason why this is the generation that's dying younger than its parents' generation. We're just like working. We're not sleeping. We're eating like crap because we don't have time to do things. We don't have time to get out and take a walk in the sunshine. All these little things that supposedly are going to extend your life. We don't have time because we're working. And part of the end result of that is we get very, very defensive about the little amounts of free time that we do have. And we get defensive not only with other people, but we get defensive with ourselves, where we're sitting there going through our instant queue on Netflix going, am I really watching the right thing that I should be watching? I feel like I could be watching something better. That's why I didn't wind up making it through the first season of Game of Thrones, because it didn't grab me immediately. So I went to pontificate my instant queue and figure out if there was some sort of better way I could spend my sliver of entertainment time, and probably wound up frittering away more of it and should have just watched Game of Thrones, but haven't watched it yet. I will, though, when it's all over and done with. That's when I'll binge the entire series, so I don't have to worry about it.
Let's just go to the Renaissance Pleasure Fair,
right,
and call it even.
I did watch enough of it to know that because the season premiere of Game of Thrones was on the other night, That's why the vast majority of my coworkers called in sick the next day, because of that drinking game they all play, where they do a shot every time a boobie appears. There's lots and lots of boobs on that show, and it still didn't hold my attention. Usually that's the kind of thing that'll keep me hanging on in there eventually. Like, oh, I bet if I hold on, I'll get a chance to see her naked. But then, like it kind of like ruins the suspense. You can just go online. Has this person ever been naked in Game of Thrones? Good. Hello, Khaleesi. Here's pictures, here's gifs, here's everything that I need without watching the pesky series. Continue.
DMX was arrested on Friday for tax evasion.
And because it was a day of the week and he's DMX.
That one's a grower.
I don't have my 1099 up in here.
Y'all gonna make me tax my money?
Y'all gonna make me move to the Caymans up in here.
Y'all gonna make me change my name up in here.
Oh, God.
Carmen Electra is in the news. Also, she says she has
Whoa,
I'm
what?
sorry. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Carmen Electra and the word news are in the same sentence.
Remember her?
Go on.
Remember her? She rocked the onesie, one piece.
She, Carmen Electra, she was married to a former member of Red Hot Chili Peppers and sometime member of Jane's Addiction, Dave Navarro. Remember that? They got married. They had this whole reality show. That was the beginning of the end for me. Because, do you remember back in the day, Jane's Addiction being a thing? They were this dangerous, mysterious band. Do you remember, Funkhauser?
Oh, do I?
They were
Yes.
Subversiveness personified. They had an air of mystery and legend to them. Their names were used in hushed and hallowed tones. I remember once running into Dave Navarro at a recording studio, and no one who even looked directly at him was like, "That's the Jane's Addiction guy. Oh my god." And he sort of didn't really look at anybody else either. And it was like this thing. There was this aura around them because you didn't really know anything about Jane's Addiction. They were mysterious. They were dark. And then Carmen Electra and Dave Navarro got a reality show on MTV about getting married. And you're like, oh, it was so much better when I didn't know. You know that period of our lives where I didn't have to hear you open up your mouth? That was better. And Perry freaking Farrell, the leader of the Freaks.
Dude.
He wasn't even on his own reality show. His wife it was Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses' wife, Perry Farrell from Jane's Addiction's wife, and a couple of other rock star wives were in a reality show together, and then their husbands would show up in it every once in a while. So Perry Farrell's on reality television now, Dave Navarro's on reality television now, and it's just I'm so glad the little amount of time that I was in a band, the small amount of time that I really, really am glad that it wasn't the sort of reality television YouTube era. I'm glad we got a record, and this was right as it was all changing. I got in while there was still a little bit of money and fun in the music business. But I got my record deal, and I did it without having to set myself while doing handstands on YouTube on fire and singing covers of other people's music. I did it when it didn't mean the pinnacle of your success was to whore yourself out to reality television. And it's when a band like Jane's Addiction succumbs to that, when you have to deal with Jane's Addiction's new reality television show, you know the good old days are over. And you know what? I really enjoy a good attitude from people that are rock stars. You know what I mean? Take your cues from certain folks like Henry Rollins, who is incredibly grateful to his audience and says it every night when he gets out on stage. But you know what you don't see folks like that doing? Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'd really like to thank you for joining me and listening. It means so much to me that you click the subscribe button. Shut up! Like I said, sucks the magic right out of it. But yeah, Carmen Electra and Jane's Addiction's guitar player Dave Navarro getting married on reality television. That was the beginning of everything that's wrong for me. Do I sound old, Funkhauser? Or am I just right? I think I'm just right.
Yeah.
So what about Carmen Electra now?
She's got a stalker.
A stalker who's convinced it's 1997? Oh, it's extra scary because they disassociate from the time period that they're in. Go on.
Saturday Night Live received 22 Emmy noms.
Yeah, that was really something. Like, I thought about it. Like, generally things that are around for a long time, and I guess maybe this helps because of the rotating cast, but generally things that are around for a long time have this sort of... they get worn out. They get a little tired. They run out of ideas, I suppose. And Saturday Night Live is the exact opposite. I mean, they've had ebbs and flows. Like, there's been seasons and casts where people look back on them and go, who was that person? They were on SNL. For how long? Oh, like 3 years. Oh, that must have been when no one was watching, when it wasn't very good. Like, there's been times where SNL, I guess, has ebbed more than flowed in this particular situation. But, like, if you're like me, you grew up watching Saturday Night Live. And you know what? It goes back a couple of generations. So if you're like me, you grew up watching Saturday Night Live with your parents who watched Saturday Night Live before you were born. And so it's kind of inspiring to see that they can go from strength to strength and snag a whopping 22 Emmy nominations. SNL snags 22 Emmy nominations. Although, to put that number in perspective, 22 Emmy nominations, you take the number of Emmy nominations that Keeping Up with the Kardashians got and add 22. Go on.
Woody Harrelson was spotted in the stands at Wimbledon.
Oh. So the players weren't the only ones on grass.
Where's the ball, man? Where's the ball?
I think he quit weed.
Sure.
That's what he said.
There's probably a strain named after him. To Google.
Did you see that thing? Woody Harrelson said he had a foursome, and his wife said she felt sorry for him.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Woody Harrelson, like, recently, and I guess this happened back in the day.
Okay.
This was like an 80s thing where it was like him and three women. And his wife said she felt bad that had happened to him. And to Woody, I would just like to say cheers.
That's good.
Thank you very much. Tommy Lee of Motley Crue fame has gone on the record numerous times saying that threesomes are no good and you must have a foursome. Like, these are things that no area of my life will ever reflect this kind of unmitigated debauchery ever. I'm just not that kind of person. I can't imagine being with more than one person at a time. But, like, Tommy Lee has gone on the record saying when it comes to group activities, because you're a rock star or TV star and you've got an embarrassment of riches, if you just have two other people, someone's going to feel left out and bored. So you got to make sure that if you are going to indulge in a group situation, you got at least four folks. There you go. Advice from Tommy Lee that in no way applies to my life. Maybe yours. Maybe you live a little bit better than the rest of us.
Radio 104.1.
Now, more AD on the radio.
Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you my musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD, and can't nobody rock a body better than me. Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior.
All right, Funkhauser. You know the bathroom activity thing? The idea of, like, because you see them. You see them, right? Unisex bathrooms. These things exist. And there's all this brouhaha over bathrooms and gender equality and gender identity and all this sort of stuff. Yet there exists in the world, we've all seen them, unisex bathrooms. How do you feel about the idea of a unisex bathroom? Because as people seem to be unable to reach any real resolution on this situation, the idea of the unisex bathroom creeps up, and people are having all sorts of feelings about it. What are your feelings on it, Funkhauser? What were you telling me earlier?
Oh, I don't care. It doesn't affect me as long as the line is shorter when I need it.
As long as the line is shorter. All right, we'll discuss unisex bathrooms and a scientific study about wait times a little later on.
Is that the wrong answer?
No, it's not the wrong answer. It's just an indicator of how folks feel about this, and we'll get into it a little later on. What exactly what a unisex bathroom would do for the amount of time that you spend hopping up and down outside after having gone, I'm half an hour from home. This double mocha frappuccino seems like a wise idea right now. You've been in that situation before, right, Funkhauser?
Recently.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. The line was so long, and it was not pleasurable once I got to the end of the line. There was no facilities left.
Starbucks bathrooms. Starbucks bathrooms are a real sort of like, hey, let's throw a bunch of rich, creamy stimulants into your gullet and see how that works out. We've got 500 people here in one bathroom. Lots of luck. It's like restroom Hunger Games at a Starbucks bathroom. Anyways, we'll get into that later. What else is going on in the world?
LA Rams tight end Tyler Higbee will avoid jail time after pleading guilty to an assault charge.
I believe the judge said that playing for the Rams was punishment enough. When the Chargers bailed on the city of San Diego, essentially the Chargers broke up with the city of San Diego over text. It was that equivalent. Like,
it's not you, it's me.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. I work with a radio station that was media partners with the San Diego Chargers. One of the stations I'm on, the one in San Diego. They're very, very fiscally and in terms of branding in bed with the Chargers. And they found out the same way everybody else did over Twitter. And like when the Chargers bailed the way they did to go off to Los Angeles, there was an article in the Los Angeles Times, and it went something like this: go back home, we don't want you. Like, we have the Los Angeles Rams, we don't even care about them. You think we're going to care about you? Not only are you the Johnny-come-latelys to the Los Angeles football situation, but also you're not a team with a great record, and the people of San Diego stuck by you for years and years and years of crushed hopes and dashed aspirations, and then you bail on them in the middle of the night. It's like coming home to receive a "Dear John, I'm gone" letter and realize half your stuff is missing. And they went, if that's how you treat the people that were loyal to you forever and ever, amen, don't expect us to roll out the red carpet when you arrive here in Los Angeles. But here's the thing. It's sports. And the thing about sports is that, well, if there's wins, people will be excited about it. All the people in LA that are like, Chargers, we don't want you, go back home, they'll sing a completely different tune if the Chargers will start winning.
Sure. All right. Mark your words.
You don't think? You don't think that if all of a sudden if Los Angeles has a team that goes to the Super Bowl and wins it, or let's see, just makes it to the postseason, you don't think that there's going to be a whole bunch of people only too keen to jump on that particular bandwagon?
Northern San Diegan counties are all county residents are all for that, I'm sure, but nope.
No, like I don't think the folks in San Diego really care. I mean, there's some people who do, but they're all just going like, all right, maybe we'll get a soccer team. San Diego is one of those towns and is one of the most beautiful cities on the face of the planet, but there's a reason why the Chargers bailed. There's a reason why the Clippers bailed. It's because San Diego costs so freaking much to live in.
So LA's cheaper?
Well, I don't know, but like, I don't know what attendance is like at Los Angeles Rams games, but San Diego costs so freaking much to live in that the people in San Diego are here for a couple of important reasons. Reason number one, the beach. Reason number two, the beach. So you spend all your money eking out an existence where everybody seems to make big money, yet have about $26 in their checking account on any given month. And you do that to be closer to the water and the beach and all the outdoory things that folks in San Diego thrive on. So, because they've got no money and because the beach is right there, it's really hard to get them off the beach. Bands say it all the time. When we go to San Diego, we don't have a great time, so 9 times out of 10 we skip San Diego because ticket sales tend to be really low there. It's very hard to get people off the beach. So I know part of the frustration with the San Diego Chargers organization is that people would show up to games, and like there'd be over half a stadium full of visiting folks because it's like the vacation capital of the world. So, you know, when it gets cold in places like Denver, Broncos fans go, we could use a break from the cold. Let's go to let's go to San Diego. It's beautiful there literally all the time. So like the folks over at the San Diego Chargers organization would specifically single out Broncos fans and be like, we would like it if just once we could play the Broncos and there would be more Chargers fans in the stands than Broncos fans. But there you go. So I think if they were to start winning, it would attract a certain amount of excitement.
Well, I think there's the upside, though, is somebody's going to move to San Diego now, and all will be right.
I don't know. Like, it's, you know, like, okay, this is
guys
kind of inside baseball.
Furthest apart from football are talking about football.
Side football. Well, it's baseball too, because like I think, you know, the way that whole situation was handled was obviously really lousy. I mean, you logical reasons as to why it was handled the way it was, but it just made everybody in the city of San Diego feel like they'd been taken for a ride for tens of years. But part of the frustration of the folks that played for and were part of the San Diego Chargers organization was, have you ever been to Qualcomm Stadium where they play, Funkhauser?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like a burnt out rust bucket that you feel unsafe walking through. Like, I swear to gosh, it creaks every time you take a step. And meanwhile, the Chargers are one of the few teams in San Diego that actually seem to have a shot occasionally. They play in this burnt out rust bucket. Meanwhile, the Padres, one of the losingest teams in all of baseball, play in Petco Park, one of the nicest parks, if not the nicest park in all of America. So the Chargers had to be looking at the Padres going, they get that, hook it up.
Leave the stimulation to the professionals.
Everyone is so smart.
KPRC, more stimulating talk radio.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is. The dumbing up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
All right, Funkhauser, how long do we have?
Yeah, about 10, 12 minutes.
All right, well, let's we should talk about the bathroom situation at some point, because, like, you know, these are our tax dollars at work, and I get it. These are important issues to a lot of people. The whole bathroom situation, though, is eating up an awful lot of time and your money. And a lot of people have said, hey, people don't seem to be able to settle down on this one in terms of argument. People don't seem to be able to really reach any kind of successful conclusion with regard to this. What about unisex bathrooms? I mean, you see them there all the time, so that can be used by anyone. And Funkhauser, what did you say with regard to unisex bathrooms?
If the line's shorter, great. You know, as long as it gets me through the process as quick as possible. I mean, you can put anybody you want in there.
Well, that raises a very interesting point, one that we will address. Scientists have actually figured out how much a unisex bathroom would cut down on your wait time, and we'll get into that a little later on. Right now, though, Funkhauser, let's roll through what remains of the news. What else is happening?
Ryan Lochte said Michael Phelps definitely can't outswim a shark.
Yeah, in his post-Olympian career, Michael Phelps, one of the most decorated Olympians in the history of Olympians, has taken to doing interesting things. He's doing that thing where he's trying to outswim sharks. Have you seen that show?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Michael Phelps tries to outswim a shark, and Swim Shady himself, Ryan Lochte. Ryan Lochte, the former fellow teammate of Michael Phelps, the guy who said he was jacked at gunpoint for his wallet while he was at the Olympics, even though he wasn't really jacked at gunpoint for his wallet. That never-ending source of truth and certainty, Ryan Lochte has weighed in on Michael Phelps trying to outswim a shark, saying that it's not going to happen. Ryan Lochte says Michael Phelps can't outswim sharks. In response, though, Phelps said, well, yeah, but you know what I can do that you can't do, Lochte? Outscore a shark on an IQ test. Go on.
Sharks are smart. Johnny Manziel said he's talked to several NFL teams about making a comeback.
Johnny Man. Wow. Well, you never know. I guess he's probably pinning all of his hopes on the idea that one of those teams might need an underdeveloped, drunken D-bag of a quarterback, in which case he's in like Flynn.
He's just here so he won't get fined, right? He's that guy. Isn't it?
Well, no, he's the guy that had all the potential in the world and then just couldn't stop partying. And,
Somebody did a press conference and answered, I'm just here so I won't get fined. I think that's
oh, really? Was that him? I don't know.
Him. It was great.
He's just a never-ending comedy of errors. Like that one time when he was supposed to be at home and he was out partying in Vegas wearing a mask, but posting pictures from Instagram or Twitter saying like just a quiet night at home with my cat or something like that, and like posting pictures of his cat because he was legally or by the team forbidden to go out and party, and he was in Vegas wearing a mask, and not only did people see him in Vegas wearing a mask and go, it's Johnny Manziel in a mask, because it wasn't a very good mask. He also, I think, forgot to turn the geotagging thing off on his pictures, so it's like just a quiet night at home with my cat in Cleveland, and really the geotag says, taken at the Luxor in Las Vegas. Dummkopf. What else?
Ann Coulter claims Delta gave her seat away without compensating her.
Oh, it was an all-out Twitter war. Yeah, it was an all-out Twitter war. Did you catch? Oh, man. Yeah, Ann Coulter and Delta going after each other on Twitter.
They went back and forth?
Oh, yeah.
Cringe-worthy.
Oh, man, absolutely. And surprising, too. Oh, very, very surprising to me that Ann Coulter had problems with Delta. Only because I was convinced that when it came to air travel, Ann Coulter tended to rely on her broom. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Got cold in here all of a sudden.
Go on.
Jimmy Carter was hospitalized while building a home for Habitat for Humanity.
It's interesting when we talk to the guys in Rise Against the other day who are unbelievably political in everything that they do. They're very open about the fact that their music is they're not only a rock band, but they're also activists, and their music is a reflection of that. And it's sometimes unclear where the line is. Are they activists, and this happens to be a vehicle for their activism, or are they musicians, and the activism is kind of sort of part of that? Anyways, fascinating conversation with some very, very intelligent, well thought out dudes. And what I love about Rise Against? If you haven't heard it, please listen to the podcast, because it's a fantastic interview. They're really, really interesting dudes. And I've noticed something. I've noticed that I can talk to some of my extremely right-wing radio honk friends and tell them, hey, I'm about to interview Rise Against. And they'll be like, oh, I love that band. I'm like, you realize they're completely diametrically opposed to everything that you think and everything that you believe and everything that you stand for, right? And they'll say, yeah, but I love it because they stand for something and they mean it. And I think that's a really cool and really valuable thing. And I think if they are able to bring people together through the medium of kick-ass rock and roll, it's an awesome thing. So please check out the Rise Against interview if you haven't yet. It's good stuff. One of my favorite conversations that we've had on this show. But what I found to be interesting was talking about voting. Now, you talk to the dudes in Prophets of Rage, and they're like, yeah. Do you remember when they were going into the election? They're like, well, we're no fans of Trump, and we're not fans of Hillary, and we're not fans of Obama either. We kind of don't believe there is a viable option in this particular political system. That was the battle cry of the dudes in that band. However, Rise Against cited something really interesting. When asked about sort of like their voting record, they said the default, regardless of party, regardless of anything like that, is they tend to vote for the person, the candidate they feel is least likely to send us to war. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting one. And Jimmy Carter is a guy who will get up on stage, and a lot of people view him as a bit of a lame duck president, but he will still trot out the fact that as far as America's wartime involvement under any other modern president, it was significantly higher than anything that he was involved with. Jimmy Carter takes credit for keeping us out of wartime situations. That's his whole thing. And then he is still obviously a guy that wanted to serve the public. This is what... Look, I'm not calling Jimmy Carter out as a mislabeled president. I'm not saying he was like the greatest dude ever. And I'm not saying he was even a good president. But one thing about him is that he really wanted to serve. He wanted to serve other people. And the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding that he continued to live his life after his presidency in a manner of service, regardless of what you think about him, regardless of what you think about his policies, regardless of what you thought about him as a president or think about him historically as a president. If you weren't around, like I wasn't around while he was president, the guy has a staunch record of doing for others, of being a person of service. And, well, that's what he was doing. He was serving. He was hospitalized while building a home for Habitat for Humanity. And you know what? I hope he recovers well and quickly. Generally speaking, I would imagine it's not that great of an idea for a 92-year-old man with a history of health problems to work construction. But look, this is a guy that wants to serve, and there he is. History of health problems, 92 years old, wanting to give of himself for others. All right, Funkhauser, what else?
NASA revealed new photos of Jupiter.
Yep. I'm looking at it. It's like this giant gaseous body surrounded by nothingness. Oh, no, wait. Sorry, that was Chris Christie on the beach. Go on.
Sinkhole in Florida swallowed 2 homes and a boat.
Yeah, the video is on my blog.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. What do you do? Can you get sinkhole insurance?
I think if you're in sinkhole territory, you should be offered it at least.
How much of that is covered?
Probably
because the land
insurance
is now uninhabitable. You know, like you own this piece of real estate. Now you own a sinkhole. What happens in those? Like that could ruin somebody's life completely. I mean, forget swallowing your home up and your boat and your possessions, but it's just like fiscally, you know, that could have been your nest egg. Yeah, like what happens in those situations? I don't know. I do know that I am now determined to live where sinkholes aren't, though, because that sounds like no fun whatsoever, no fun at all. How much time do we got, Funkhauser?
3. 3. Count them. 3.
3 minutes. All right. One more piece of news.
Charlie Sheen is in the news here. He's vegan now.
Charlie Sheen.
I
enjoy your Charlie Sheen impersonation so much. I've started doing it on my other shows, and you know what? I've discovered it's really fun to talk like Charlie Sheen.
Because you're always constantly lost your voice, and it doesn't really matter how you sound.
It's just, when did Charlie Sheen stop sounding like Charlie Sheen and start sounding like
after all
Beavis?
The tiger blood?
Yeah, it sounds like Beavis from Beavis and Butthead's dad. So he's what now?
He's a vegan.
Oh, well, that makes sense. I don't believe there's any animal products in crack rock. Okay, let's talk about bathrooms a little bit, shall we? Now, we've spent a shockingly large amount of time arguing about bathrooms. Every time a politician argues about something, they're basically taking your tax dollars, your hard-earned blood, sweat, and tears to disagree with somebody else. Professional disagreement. Oh, man, we can eat up so much time, not reach any real kind of conclusion, but appear like we're passionate and involved in actually doing something. How long can we stretch this game out? That, my friend, is politics, and that's how you have a decent run at it. Sad, but absolutely true. So anything that can shorten the discourse over these things, and I get it. I understand the idea of gender identity on both sides and bathroom usage on both sides of this particular argument. These are passionate issues that matter to people. However, just for women alone, I mean, guys, we have wait times and everything, but if we were just able to get in and get out, if we didn't have to wait for one bathroom to be open. Have you ever used the wrong person's bathroom, Funkhauser? Where it's just like there's somebody in the guy's room and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting and there's 2 bathrooms and you know it's not a multiple person situation. Like your average Starbucks, they don't have like, you know, a room with a bunch of troughs in it. They've got like one bathroom, one room with one commode and one sink, and that's it. And you ever looked at the women's room? Have you ever looked at the women's room and said to yourself, I can't hold it anymore, and like that's empty and there's no women waiting to use it, and like I'm just going to sneak in? Have you ever done that?
Oh yeah, several times.
I've been told by staff, specifically at Starbucks, in this situation where, you know, you're kind of playing intestinal chicken. Let's have some sweet, creamy stimulants, dump them in my stomach. I'm only a half hour from home. This will work out well. You sit there and the staffer goes, oh, you can just use the women's room. It's totally fine. And you do. And you think to yourself, well, this is sort of a unisex bathroom. Would that not solve all of our problems? Now, obviously, it's a logistical thing. Not every single bathroom is exclusively stalls. But turns out if all bathrooms were unisex, wait times would be slashed by, count them, not 100, not 200, not 300, but 400%. If all bathrooms were unisex, wait times slashed by 400%. Just going to leave that there for you to pontificate.